Okay, so we're going to be looking at word problems involving fractions. Okay, so what I mean by word problems involving fractions, we're talking about statements that you can interpret into fraction calculation. Maybe you want to talk about how much you've spent, or maybe how much you have left, or maybe you're talking about the exact money you had before you started shopping, stuff like that. So just like bringing out a statement and interpreting it into fraction, calculating or solving, and that's kind of interpreted form of your statement. Okay, so we're going to look at one example. Let's say just for the basics, if you say what
fraction must be subtracted from the sum of 206 and 274 to give 3/1/4.
So let's say this is the question: what fraction must be subtracted from the sum of 2/1/6 and 2/7/12 to give 3/1/4? So if you notice, it's not just a direct expression, simplify. It's just a statement that we have to interpret and find out the answer from what the statement is asking us to find. So if you look at it, the interpretation of the statement will simply be we're looking for the fraction that must be subtracted from this and this to give this. So meaning that the sum is actually addition. So we're looking for the fraction subtracted from the sum of this and this. So 2/1/6 plus 2/7/12. So the fraction that will be subtracted from this and this, and let's call it x. So this fraction, this sum minus that fraction, we don't know what it is, so we'll call it x, will give us 3/1/4. So that's the question. They're asking you what is this fraction that will subtract from the sum of 2/1/6 plus 2/7/12 to give us 3/1/4. So this is the interpretation of this question. Now, following formal examples on fractions, you should be able to solve this, but we're just going to do it for those who may be new to fractions too. Okay, so bringing this up here, we're going to change this to improper fraction, which will be 13/6, since distance 2 is 12 plus 1/13, plus this will be 24 plus 7 is 31/12. Okay, still in the bracket, minus x equals to, this is 13/4. So I'm gonna clean this now. So you notice that x signifies the fraction that will be subtracted from this sum to give this, and so we're going to make x actually subject, so that we just calculate the rest. So meaning that we're going to open this bracket, 13/6 plus 31/12, and we're going to bring 13/4 over to this side. So bringing over here, we'll have minus 13/4 equal to x. So now that is the x we're looking for, that is the fraction we're looking for. So if we find the LCM here, we'll have actually 12. We'll have 12 as the LCM. So this will give us 2 times 13/26 plus 31 minus 3 times 13 is 39 equal to x. So the sum of 26 and 31 here will actually give us 57 minus 39 will actually give us 18 over 12. So meaning that x is equals to 18 over 12. We reduce this to the lowest term. We have 6 here, 3, 6 here, 2. So we have 3 over 2, which is the same thing as 1 over 2. So that is the answer to that expression. So the question, remember, is what fraction will be subtracted from the sum of those two numbers to give us 1 over 4. And this is the fraction. Yeah. So it's just for you to understand the interpretation. You read the statement very carefully, get to understand what they mean, and bring it out and solve it the way you solve normal fraction. Let me show you something else. So this is another example. It's a simple example, just for you to interpret it. Now, how will you interpret when this statement, when they say find the difference between 4 over 11 of 2 1 over 5 and 3 over 4? Well, you need to understand that they're telling you to find the difference between this and this. And the difference is subtraction. So they're saying, what is the difference between 4 over 11 of 2 1 over 5 minus 3 over 4? So that's the interpretation. So you notice that of becomes multiplication. So we have 4 over 11 here times this to improper fraction is 11 over 5 minus 3 over 4. So following the principle of Bodmer's, the basic thing here is just to find first the interpretation, then solving the rest is not a problem, especially when you understand what you're solving. So since we're dealing with fractions, and we've done before, we will just go through it and we notice that here will be multiplication first, so 11 will cancel 11. We'll be having left 4 over 5 minus 3 over 4. If you subtract everything and do it, you end up with 1 over 20. And that is it. So I just keep the whole process since we've done it enough throughout our discussion on fractions. So you can try it out, maybe do the rough math there and get the answer. You find that it's 1 over 20. So the basic thing is this interpretation. Find the difference between 4 over 11 of 2, 1 over 5 and 3 and 4. You know that difference is subtraction. So you just put the subtraction here, you solve. So that is it. So maybe we should discuss something that you can relate to in the real world.